Yo, what's going on? It's King Steph, and we are back with a new JJK chapter. And boy, was this definitely going to be a big chapter, because I'm not even gonna hold you. I got spoiled a little bit on Twitter, but I tried to avoid as much as I can. But of course, it was kind of hard not to miss the big thing. But without wasting any time, let's get into the video. The official end to Megumi and Reggie. With Reggie's final words, Reggie gives Megumi some respect for how he planned this whole thing out, like luring him into the gym, so that was pretty cool to see. And I like the little callback to Shibuya when Megumi explains that Nue can't carry people and fly at the same time for a long duration. And I could definitely say this is easily Megumi's best fight in the entire series. It's kind of hard to put any fight really above this, because we basically got everything of Megumi, his themes, his the potential of his Ten Shikigami, everything. Like even his physicality with like the swords and him fighting and his durability. It was cool to see. So I definitely put this as like Megumi's top fight. So, you know, I don't know what else we got going for Megumi, but it's definitely going to have to reach this type of like potential in terms of like him being a sorcerer. But something I did find interesting was Megumi thinking of the likelihood of what side Tengen is on. And what's the real reason behind the Culling games? Is it the Tengen fusion, or is it this Kenjaku bomb that Reggie was talking about? I kind of like that little aspect to make me question some stuff from what Reggie told him, because even us as the reader, we're still not 100% certain like what the Culling games end game is for, in terms of like what is Kenjaku planning. And just that little aspect right there really like makes me question, kind of like, okay, what's the direction of Tengen now? Because before this little conversation, it was kind of like set in stone that Tengen was going to be a cog in like kind of what Kenjaku wants to do. So, you know, now that this was said, it kind of leaves the door a little open for, I don't know about like Tengen betraying them and working with Kenjaku, but maybe, I don't know, maybe something's going on. It's kind of hard to tell exactly what, but I kind of like it throwing it in there, just a little bit more mystery around like what Tengen is. Reggie transferred his points to Megumi as a last good deed. He says he is just an onlooker and he and Kenjaku aren't friends. And the last thing he says to Megumi is to let fate toy with you and become a clown, then die. Now that I'm gonna have to let officials like dictate my thoughts on this, because I don't know about, you know, become a clown then die. My first thought of when he said this was kind of like, just be a regular sorcerer that, you know, becomes used as a tool and then die, because that's kind of what Reggie was in a way. That's kind of what I'm putting two and two together, which that's kind of what Yuji's going through right now. But I don't know, I kind of want to wait till officials to get like the actual statement, because, you know, JJK officials and the leaks are kind of, you know, wishy-washy in terms of certain things, but, you know, we'll see about that later on. Go back outside to where Hazanoki and Takaba were fighting. Hazanoki's attacks aren't really doing anything to Takaba, like literally, and the only damage per se he took was on Takaba's hair and like putting a knot in it, which still ain't doing nothing. And apparently he's healing his own wounds, but it's not reverse curse energy or like a reverse curse technique. Hazanoki's Kogane tells him that Reggie is dead, and he just dips. He leaves. He said, "This is BS. I'm out." And we get the explanation of Takaba's technique with the narration. And this is just ridiculous for a different reason. So Takaba's technique allows him to manifest situations he imagined are funny into reality. And it's even stated that it would be effective against Gojo, and that Takaba doesn't understand his own curse technique, which I don't even know what to think of that. I mean, even like the thought of what he thinks is funny comes into reality, that could literally be anything. Like, could you imagine if somebody has some dark humor? That would be tragic. Actually, that would be crazy. But I mean, this is definitely like a joke. This is like a gag, and it's kind of funny because it does, like, the Culling games are so serious and so like methodical that having Takaba as like this funny character that kind of intertwines to like lighten the mood at times is pretty cool. You see what his role is, but like, that's just funny. I think we're definitely going to see him again, but it's just the fact that he's compared to Gojo in the situation of like he can actually deal damage to him. It's pretty cool. We got Remi running in an alleyway away from Divine Dog, which, by the way Divine Dog has been drawn lately, I just love it. My boy looks aggressive, menacing. I mean, maybe it's just me, but it's like the more we see him, the more vicious we look at him, or the more he looks. And I wonder if that's like connected to Megumi, because the more we see Megumi in these Culling games, he just looks exhausted, or kind of just done with like this whole trial and trivial thing. But we get Remi having a flashback to when someone named Wolf took care of her, or looked after her, and she didn't have to think about anything. All she had to do in life was sit around, be cute or whatever, and just do things. And that kind of reflects on the fact that Remi just doesn't mature as a person. And I guess this boyfriend or whoever she was with just did everything for her. She didn't really have to take any responsibilities, which you can pretty much see that every time we see her, she just wants someone to do stuff for her. That's why she was with Reggie in the first place. So this makes sense. And I wouldn't be surprised if Remi's around for a while, just like running away, getting lucky at times. But Divine Dog gets released because Megumi in his head has Sumiki saying, "That's no good, Megumi." He collapses from exhaustion, and I think this is connected in a way to Megumi's good and bad ideology that we've known from the very beginning. And to add on even more of that, then we have the angel Hana Kuruzu showing up for the first time in the Culling game, descending from the skies. She is one of the key players in the Culling games, especially for like removing Gojo from the prison room. So it looks like she's gonna be around Megumi, and I don't know if she's gonna heal him or help him. I don't know. We don't know like what she's, if she's good, neutral, bad. But I do find it interesting that Megumi's doing this, has this whole good and bad ideology, and it's kind of like messing with him at times because he just killed Reggie, who's, he's technically a bad guy. He's a criminal, whatever. And then you got Remi, who she's not necessarily bad. She's just let's just say she's just not mature. She's just ignorant. She just doesn't know a lot of things. So it's hard to say she's bad in terms of like, being logical about it. And then you got Hana coming down like an angel, which represents like everything good. It's interesting. I like that. The narration is shown that the Sendai barrier is reaching an intense peak, far surpassing the Tokyo barrier, and it is developing at a swift and aggressive pace. This is where things take a turn, and you already know who's in the Sendai barrier. So we get introduced to these 4 new characters and players off rip in the Culling games. First, we got Druv Lakdawala. I'm glad I don't know how to remember his name. He has 91 points, and this is his second incarnation, so he's been brought back before. He has 2 types of Shikigami that he can use. They tracks as a domain, but you probably won't have to remember any of that at all after the end of this chapter. Second, we got the coolest looking one out of the 4 easily for me, Ishiguri Ryu. He owns 77 points. He boasts the highest curse energy output and shoots curse energy like a cannon. He interests me the most, like just his name. I already know what Ichi and Rui mean, or Ryu, I'm sorry, means. So Ichi meaning number 1 and Ryu meaning dragon. I already know this dude is going to be a fighter, which I'm hoping he is. I mean, he got the Crollo jacket, he got the Josuke here. He's literally Crollo and Josuke fused in terms of how he looks. And he has to be reincarnated too because his eyes are all blacked out. I wonder if that's like a detail that these guys are definitely like reincarnated. And shoots energy like a cannon. First thing I think of is Yusuke Urameshi, Yu Yu Hakusho. So maybe that's what his is, but I'm definitely looking forward to him. If he's got a fight, I already know it's probably gonna be insane. But third, we got Uru Takako. She owns 77 points, former captain of the Jujutsu Sendai Shintai, who reports directly to the assassination team of the Fujiwara clan, and her technique is the ability to manipulate the sky. Honestly, her technique is what I'm looking forward to. I just don't know, like just the idea of manipulate the sky and you see her in the air and she's kind of like phasing through. I guess I don't know how this is gonna work or who she's gonna go up against. That's gonna be interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if she went up against Angel or Hana. I don't know. That's a lot to take in. Manipulate the sky. That just sounds crazy. And last we got a freaking cockroach, cursed spirit named Kurorushi, and this was released from Kenjaku's cursed spirit manipulation and is registered as a special grade. It remains dormant until the introductory conditions appear. It has 54 points as well, and that thing just looks that just looks gross. And then I noticed his feet are like actually human hands. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this cockroach actually looks pretty terrifying. It looks like he definitely took some inspiration from a little bit of the Chimeras, but gave him a darker feel to him. I'm kind of curious to see with this thing, only because he's connected to Kenjaku. I don't know how he's a cursed spirit. That's going to be interesting to see. I wonder if it's going to be similar to the smallpox deity, and maybe this thing has like a similar domain. I don't know, but we'll see probably later on. And apparently there are 4 equally matched abilities left at a deadlock until one side crumble, which is because my boy, our guy, you already know, Yuta Okkotsu has arrived. just in time apparently, with the Volume 0 movie coming to America or to the United States in March. That's pretty pretty cool to see. And he's killed Drug, the old man that we saw the first one. And after the ninth parade of 100 demons, Yuta regained his special grade status within 3 months. And in this modern era, he is second only to Gojo Satoru, a prodigy. And that's how the chapter ends. I'm excited for the amount of things to come. It's like a lot of things that I love when JJK does this. It feels like the last 4 to 5 pages of like a climactic chapter. It just feels like it's so much that can be thrown in terms of possibilities. I'm just looking forward to everything that can come. Introduction of these 4 characters, well 3 because Dro is dead, has me really intrigued as to the things that could possibly happen when it comes to fights, parallel themes, the possibility of these characters being useful later on. I'm still just big on this Ryu guy. I'm big on him. Udo, mainly her technique, and the cockroach, of course. Like I said, I want to know like if there are other cursed spirits that Kenjaku has running around. Pretty sure he does that are special grade and up. It's just so much. And then the thing is, we don't even have Hikari yet. I feel like we're gonna go like barrier for barrier at a time. That kind of looks like what we're gonna do. We haven't even gotten to Hikari yet. We're obviously not back with Maki. I think Maki's gonna be like a surprise thing. We're not back with Panda. It's like there's so much still to come, and it feels like it's still just the beginning. It's just like I'm telling you, it's gonna be something special about it when it's all said and done. But I already got all my thoughts off. How y'all feel about the new characters that are introduced? How y'all feel about, of course, Yuta coming back? I know this year is gonna be big for Yuta because of the movie and all that. Man, I'm looking forward to it. So if you enjoyed this, of course, subscribe, leave a comment, like the video. I'll holler at you on the next one. Peace.